to be up to 15, right?
15 psi.
15 psi.
We're checking out the beach in between these thunder showers. It's supposed to be thunder showering off and on for the next several hours. But like Kelly was saying, there's hardly anybody at the beach right now. And the thing is about this beach is that it's very nice. It's shallow. It goes out shallow for quite a ways.
There's Douglas.
I found a nice little quiet spot just north of June Lake, right by a juniper tree, and I can see Mono Lake from here. In the past, not too far from where I'm standing, there was a community. It was a town called West Portal. It was actually for all the workers that were working on the water project between 1934 and 1941. And they worked for the City of Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. It was called West Portal, not too far from June Lake. That gravel road ahead there, that's the road you take to get to Parker Lake. And a previous video just recently went up there to Parker Lake. Beautiful. I recommend that. Parker Lake is at over 8,000 feet. It's right up to the right there. There's a turnoff right there. Last time I was up here, there's hardly any water in this at all. Now look at it, it's almost full, I would say. Nice little rest stop and overlook with picnic tables. And you can see there's some fisher folk out there. Hey, buddy. What's going on? All kinds of trailheads in through here. Boat launches. Like I said, a lot of activity, a lot of things to do. It's popular, but you can see why. There are a lot of cabins and cabin rentals. It's quite congested, but still, it's beautiful. There's the Double Eagle Restaurant, Resort and Spa. Whispering Pines Motel and A-frames. It's just gonna say watch out for cyclists through here. Looks like a wonderful place for a vacation. Here's June Lake. Population 613, elevation 7,650. They get a lot of snow in here in the wintertime. And here's the tackle shop. Look at all those great vacation rentals tucked away in there. It's a tiny little town once you get into it. Small little streets. These homes are literally tucked into the rocks. Here's Mrs. Ferguson's house, and this really caught my eye. It was such a nice home, and she's going to tell us a few things about herself and living here in this town in June Lake. Hi everybody, I'm with Mrs. Ferguson here, and her husband were very nice to have a nice conversation with a stranger. I've never met them before, and we had a nice conversation. I just noticed their home that they built themselves. Their family built their home themselves. They've lived here for over 30 years, and excuse me?
In June Lake.
In June Lake.
Yeah, 33 actually.
33 years. 33 years. So Mrs. Ferguson, you said that this winter was the first time in 33 years that you decided to stay out of June Lake with all the snow.
Right, yes.
I think that was a good move.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, we didn't know that was going to happen, but we're glad we were not here.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you like living in June Lake?
Oh yes, it's beautiful here and all the people are really nice and yeah, it's great.
Now how many people actually do live in June Lake year round?
You know, the postmaster says there's only really around 300.
About 300. That's pretty good size for a small town up here.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
Oh. It's a very quaint and nice vacation town. Beautiful June lake. Lots of people out here today enjoying themselves. Just make this turn on North Shore Drive. This is also a bicycle route along here. It looks like the trailhead's a little bit off the main road. Looks like there's a really nice view just right on this little ridge right here. It's not very far. Oh yeah, it's really opening up. Oh, beautiful. Oh, nice. You can hear that waterfall. There's a waterfall in there. It's hidden behind the side of that mountain. This is called the Reverse Peak Loop. Here comes Kelly. Looking back is Gull Lake. You can see the ski resort even better now. So Kelly, how are these ski slopes when they're open with the snow on them?
Well, the ones on the left are the green and blue trails, which are easy to moderate. They're not too bad. But the ones on the right are black diamonds, and they're rough in the winter. They're very steep and icy. If you see that building out there, that's the ski resort. That's the main lodge.
On the very top of the hill up there?
Yes, it is.
Okay. There's no snow. It's hard to even recognize it this time of year.
That's true. It looks different right now.
That's the ski run. They have a big parking lot along the road there.
It gets full too.
Yeah. The weather is quite threatening, but it looks like it might just be a passing thunder shower, so we're not too worried about it. We've noticed that there's still wildflowers this season. And there's so many different varieties. We've seen so many flowers this year because we had so much snow. It's unprecedented. Get these here. And so here it is in August. And we're not at the super high elevations, but there's still quite a few things blooming. This trail is part of the June Lake Triathlon route. There are some boulders on the trail and some rocks. I think this is the end of the line for the four-wheelers. It's starting to get a little rugged. It's not bad though. This is a nice example of mountain mahogany. Notice the odd little seed pods on it. They look like cat whiskers or hair, perhaps. In the triathlon, the runners must run up this. The trail levels out for a short way. We need that little break. Here's an older pine that's dead, and you can see where the sapsuckers and woodpeckers have been drilling holes, looking for grubs. And it's a nice meandering path through here. Nice and cool, hardly any bugs. And to top it off, there's another little lake over here. Let's take a look. Maybe it's like a pond size. It's hidden away. This small little lake. I'm not sure if it has fish in it. We are not going to go down there today, but I might come back another time and I'll let you know if there's any fish in there. Look at that tree there. Look at the character of that tree. It reminds me of the bristlecone pines, doesn't it?
You know, it really does.
Yeah. That tree has a lot of character. Now, Kelly, does your cat at home have a scratching pole?
Yeah, it sure looks like he's been up here scratching.
Yeah, I think actually there's two things that have been scratching on there, maybe even three. The American bobcat, the American mountain lion, Felis concolor, and the black bear. Any one of those or all three could have done that. Surprisingly, we didn't notice this at first because it blends in with the huge mountain behind it. But right here in the foreground, you can see there's a big hump of a hill in between these two little lakes. I'm glad that there's some cloud cover today because it's keeping it a lot cooler and it feels good. Not many bugs out. Look at that, there's another big dead pine tree. Take a look. Looks like it has the holes in this, on the bottom also. Maybe that's where all the grubs are. Like Kelly mentioned to me that all the holes seem to be at the bottom. That must be where all the juicy grubs are for those woodpeckers. There's an ancient mountain mahogany wrapped around a boulder. And there's another massive ancient tree in the distance.
And here's Doug the tree hugger.
Another huge, massive boulder. And look at this interesting tree over here. Really gorgeous. And there's still snow in August. Well, I bet it was a good year for the frogs. That's a baby Pacific chorus frog. Here's the seasonal pond where there's those Pacific chorus frogs are coming out of. I believe by memory those are Hyla regilla. They were called the Pacific tree frog. They have climbing pads like a tree frog, but they're basically a grassland frog. So I think that's why they reclassified or renamed the Pacific chorus frog. But the interesting thing about the Pacific chorus frog is that all the movies that you see coming out of Hollywood and they have the frog sounds, those are recorded sounds of this type of frog, the Pacific chorus frog. They don't get very big at all, maybe about, oh, look in the ground, look at them all. I don't want to step on them. See them jumping everywhere, if you can see them. But the adults are about like that big, and they can change colors, different shades of earth tones, and pink, brown, green, and of course they sing, and they're good for your garden. But those are the Hollywood soundtrack frogs. There they are. See them all jumping? There's so many we can hardly even walk in here. They must have just metamorphosed from the tadpole into the frog. I'm gonna walk out here very slowly and carefully and try not to step on any of them. And there's one in the green. It's a green phase, light green. I don't know if you can see that. There's a brown phase. And the thing is they choose a pond like this. The adults choose a pond like this that dries up because there's no fish in here to eat them. And the tadpoles will hatch out and mature in time before this pool dries up. But yes, those are the frogs that are on all the Hollywood soundtracks. Well, when they change into those frogs, they go through that metamorphosis, and they're smaller when they first change. What a beautiful world that these Pacific chorus frogs live in. There's their breeding pond and this year's crop of baby frogs. I think they live several years. I'm not sure. I think 4 or 5 at least. So there's a frog right there jumping along in the woods. I'm not sure if I got him or not. But these chorus frogs, they actually live in these woods. And it's rather dry, but what they do is they hide under rotten logs and things like that, so they can retain their moisture, because they're not toads, they're frogs. But after they are done breeding and they hatch out, they move out to these areas. See, there's sagebrush in here. It's amazing. Are we still on the right trail, Kelly?
As far as I know.
I thought these rocks were interesting, how they're stuck in the ground. Just the top is showing, and in the distance you can see the snow-covered peak. Here's the view by the water tower. Let's see if we can see the lake from here. There's June Lake, the town, and there's June Lake itself. He's definitely in the moth family. He's got one wing, it's a little bit tattered, but look at those big antennas. That's something nocturnal would use to navigate. It reminds me of maybe like a bat having the big ears. I think it's a moth family, but look at the pattern on that. Isn't that striking, Kelly?
Yes, it is.
This is Gull Lake. It's directly adjacent to June Lake. You can see there's quite a few people out there, even though the weather's just a little bit, you know, it might rain today. Woo! We really got rained out, didn't we, Kelly?
Yes, we did.
That was a heck of a close lightning strike too, wasn't it? You can see where all the, it's not too big, enough to kind of make it sting. Pretty spot in the park. Here's some of that leftover hail. The front steps to the Heidelberg Inn. Heidelberg Inn. Now Heidelberg's in Germany, right? So maybe this is like a Bavarian style or something.
Probably. That's, you know, kind of a
Nice view up here.
spot.
Really nice place. Got some big bears up there in the top. Of course, we got real bears around here too. Here's a collage of a lot of the famous people in entertainment that have stayed here. Who's some of the famous people that you found here so far?
Look at Dorothy L'Amour. Look at her pole.
Dorothy L'Amour.
Look how long they are.
Yeah.
And look this
Clark
one.
Gable.
Jimmy Durante.
Yeah, I heard Clark Gable used to do some gambling up here, and then I think they threw the chips down in the lake. Got Buster Keaton, Hoagie Carmichael, all kinds of stars. Here's the view from the front stairway. Neat. Here's some more of that hail. Almost looks like snow in here. Pretty deep. That is deep. Look at that. You can hear that thunder still. Oh, I see it. There's the rope swing. Woohoo! It was just thunder and lightning like what, 2 minutes ago?
Yeah,
It still
we're
is.
Wet. We're still wet.
Hear it? A storm blowing through. Anyway, so she said I got to get a running start so I won't hit all these rocks. And it's not all the only rocks. There's a rock ledge down there. So I got to clear that. It's pretty cold, but she said she'd drive me off and bring a towel. So explain about the short one.
Just, he thinks that this one's going to be a little too short, so he's going to try this other longer rope. We'll see how that works out.
So you're saying I've really got to get a running start and make sure I clear those rocks, huh?
You have to.
You're scaring me.
Well,
I'm no child anymore. I'm not a teenager. Okay, I'll try it.
You're on.
Woo! It's not that cold.
It's not?
You probably think we're crazy going to the beach in this weather, but these are just thunder showers. They come and they go. This is one passing through. It'll be done in just a few moments. It's up in the mountains. This happens in the summertime. You gotta hold that part in there.
That's how you do it right there.
The beach here is also handicapped accessible. We got the Wounded Warrior pathway. This pathway right here is designed for wheelchair access. So if you need to use that, you can come all the way down to the water on this. There she goes into the wild blue yonder. I waded out into the lake on a rock. I'm standing on a rock. There's Kelly. There's a few people on the beach, but we're getting ready to clear out because we see another storm coming. It sure was fun though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was
It was a lot
enjoyable.
of fun.
It wasn't cold or anything like that.
And
It
the
was.
waves are calm
It's
today,
calm,
which is
yeah.
unusual out here.
That was pretty interesting, wasn't it, Kelly? Every time we'd want to get that boat out there, the weather would kick out and there'd be hail and thunder shower. Of course, you didn't want to get a boat of any type out on the open water. But the last time we were out there, we got off just in time, didn't we?
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was fun. And it was interesting too because we were the only people on the whole lake. There was one other boat, it was a larger boat. We were the only small vessel, whatever you want to say, that was on anybody that was on the lake. And so there was a few people that were just, I don't know, they were just so enthralled to watch us out there. It was fun though. Anyway, and I think it was fun. Thanks for joining us.